In today's episode of the Price Performance Index, we put on our value for the money glasses and examine the Hot 380 of 2023, the Beretta 80x Cheetah. The 80x released in 2023 with an MSRP of $799 and was often found in stores in the $750-ish ballpark. It is halfway through 2024. How do we feel now about the MSRP and in-store price after more than a year of putting rounds through the firearm? Before we get into the numbers and discussion, it's time to see the 80x in action. Let's hit the range. What do you think, Frederick? Okay, one more. Bottom middle target. First shot will be double action. Next 13 will be single action. Here we go. That was terrible. I didn't know where that went. Okay. I'd say that's a pretty decent group out there. And I'm just going to start with all my shots will be single action. Here we go. Okay, we have 6 on the target. The Beretta 80x Cheetah is a single action, double action, external hammer fired, double stack magazine fed, direct blowback operated pistol chambered in 380 ACP. It is 6.8 inches long, 4.9 inches high, 1.4 inches wide, and weighs in at 25 ounces unloaded. The 80x has a 3.9-inch alloy steel barrel with an aluminum alloy frame and steel alloy slide. The 80x Cheetah has an ambidextrous safety decocker. Important note, while you might be tempted to think there is a notch midway on the safety decocker allowing you to carry the firearm cocked and locked, that is not the case. You are merely encountering the resistance that is the beginning of the decocking mechanism. The safety on the 80x is not engaged until it can be moved no further. The base model of the 80x comes with the vanilla 3 white dot sight system. There's no fiber optics, no iridescent paint or radioactive bits on the white dots. In addition to the white dots, The slide of the 80X is milled for an optic. Use of an optic requires a plate that is not included. Also of note here is the stock rear sight is incorporated into the cover plate for the optic. As a result, the rear sight is not adjustable, unfortunately. The trigger on the 80X is Beretta's Extreme S trigger. Off my gauge, the double action trigger is around 5.5 pounds, while the single action trigger is around 3.5 pounds. The trigger is adjustable in subcapacity, though I've never really bothered to look into it, as I'm very happy with the setup from the factory and have left well enough alone. The grip of the 80X is Beretta's Vertec grip. The grip panels are replaceable. Inside the grip slots the double stack magazine that feed the firearm. In a free state, the 80X comes with two 13-round magazines, giving you a 13+1 capacity. A couple other mentionable features are the underbarrel attachment rail and forward slide serrations. Some people will like the option to easily attach a light or the like. Same goes for the fondness for forward slide serrations. With the features and numbers out of the way, let's see a little more of the 80X in action on the range before we measure it against the Price Performance Index. To the bottom left-hand target, 5-6 shots right-handed. Do the first one, double action. Here we go. Last one, up to that last one, was doing pretty good. Double action. That was tough. It's barely on the paper. A little high right. Okay, that explains it. single action, double action, external hammer fired, metal frame, optics ready, attachment rail, all of that at an MSRP of $799. And it's time we ask ourselves,
Nation, do you read me?
wait one, operator's buzzing in, hold on. Go ahead, Mother Goose.
Yes, the MSRP has changed.
Oh, I see. Thanks for letting me know. That certainly has the potential to change the pace of today's discussion. Let me talk this out with our viewers. Thanks for the assist, Mother Goose. I have just been informed by one of my colleagues that there's been a recent price adjustment. Beretta has adjusted the MSRP to $699. I wonder if they did this at the 1-year anniversary. Last time I saw the 80X in stores was a little over a month ago, and it was at the $699 price point. Checking that store now, and it's at $599. We are adjusting the price scale for today's discussion down. Yes, you heard that right. Down from the $700 to $800 range down to the $600 to $700 range. That is a big to potentially big downward slope that could have some nice ripple effect across the secondhand market for lucky people in the immediate future. With the new price in mind, how does the Beretta 80X sit in that $600 to $700 price range? First, let's compare it against other options with the same features and see how the prices line up. Just off of the feature list from a moment ago, looking at a big box retailer with a healthy stock and narrowing down the options, we have a total of 0 other options with all the same other features. If we toss out optics ready and maybe the rail, we have the Gearson MC14T and a version of the Beretta Thunder that are left standing. Not that having nothing as far as apples to apples competitors justifies a higher price or a lower one, but the potential is there. That depends on how well the product turns out. This is a good spot to segue to the second item to examine against the price: flaws. Does the Beretta 80X have any flaws that can be used to attack the price? Not having a manual in the box and instead having to get that off the inner tubes is one for me, but I'm probably in the minority there. At the launch MSRP, I would have said not including at least one plate for a common footprint was one, but at the current price, I think that's a harder boat to row. Some early 80X pistols potentially had an issue with the trigger reset that caused a dead trigger condition. There are at least a few videos floating around from owners who had that issue, but I don't know the exact cause. If I go a couple thousand rounds between cleaning, to me it feels like the pistol gets a little, I don't know, sluggish on the inside maybe. It's a hard sensation to describe that I wonder if is why the manual has stern notices about cleaning after each use. You doing it, mate, Fred? Giving him the old girl woofities? Another mentionable on this front is recoil. While you will see and or read many reviews that mention light recoil, and it is light, compared to other common 380s from major manufacturers, it is among the worst in the class. The Ruger Security 380, the Smith & Wesson EZ 380, and the SIG P365 380 all have more mild recoil compared to the Beretta 80X Cheetah. Much of that is a difference in action and operation, but it is what it is. I think we have someone there, like someone with a corgi and a camera. We gotta watch this. They've been like slowly moving around the parking lot. Oh well, okay, here we go. Let's keep on trucking. One last area where I have to knock the 80X is sights. The 3-dot sights are good enough, but I'm in the boat who prefer to have some type of night sights or fiber optic, easy to pick up sight on my personal protection firearm. I think the price drop actually hurts the 80X here. At the original MSRP, I think it was easier to make the argument that someone probably is putting an optic on it, but at the lower, more affordable price, I think it's now in the territory of shooters who can afford the firearm, but not the extra expense of an expensive optic and mounting plate. But I'm probably in the small boat again on those fronts. We managed to find some flaws that are not nitpicky flaws found for participation points, but do they matter? From what little I understand, whatever issue with whatever out of spec thing that caused the dead trigger for some, Beretta ironed out some time ago. If I were buying a new firearm at the new price, that's not something I'd be worried about more than any other firearm at this point. Sights, optic plate, and no manual all would have stacked up to mount a minor attack at the $799 MSRP, but at $699, that's a little more challenging. For sights and optics, Beretta can just point to the lower price point and say, do you want this or that? Who knows, maybe the price drop is a precursor to additional models being available that are more than just different color finishes. Models with things like night sights or factory attached optic. Before this video turns into another marathon, let's try and circle back to where we started and wrap things up. At the new MSRP of $699 and found in the $600 to $700 range, Beretta managed to pack an almost impossible combination of features into the 80x Cheetah: metal frame, external hammer fired, single action, double action trigger, reliable, easy to carry, very accurate. Instead of just making another striker fired polymer frame clone and slapping their name on it, calling it good, Beretta delivered a feature-rich firearm that is now adding more attractive price point for most consumers. It's still closer to the top end than the bottom end of the price scale, but with the combination of features and performance, it's difficult to see the 80X somehow getting cheaper in price without quality, features, or both suffering. Well, anyway, we hope you found today's presentation entertaining. If so, please give the video a like. It's free and it helps the channel. Maybe think about sharing the video with a friend or two. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day. Fredericky the Bopper, Frederick, he can really move. Frederick, he's got a corkitude. All right, Fred, let's get you some Cheetos and then some ice cream. We're rolling out.